Beautiful. All right. Welcome to Friday, June the 9th. Um, Crazy. It's June. Um, so I had this great call with a woman. Her name is Haley, and I see her usually once a month. I haven't seen her for a couple of months. And we were talking about, so she does this, sorry, my throat's going to be a little scratchy. As her and I are moving, she's still working on my body. We're moving some energy here. Anyhow, she has something called a biofeedback machine, and it measures the energy of what's going on with your body. And so, and then it gives you different, it measures what kind of different emotions that you're holding on to your body. And so what was in my came up in my body today was anger. And so her and I started talking about, she asked me if there was a situation, or what did that mean for me? And as we started to talk, I said to her, I don't allow myself, I don't have anger. I don't try to repress it or suppress it. But I certainly, when I feel anger, as often as possible, go to a place and space where I can diffuse it. And because I've not experienced a healthy version of anger. So in my life, when my parents got angry, it was not great, and I have a wicked ass temper. And if I'm going to be unkind, it will be because I'm angry. So she asked me a question, and the answer, I said to her, well, there's no point. There's no point in being angry. There's no benefit to it. There's like no resolution. My experience has been no resolution comes from it. No benefit comes from it. All that ends up happening are two individuals or a group of individuals are hurt. And then they need to go and like try to heal from that experience. And so she asked me a deeper question, which was, do I really believe that, or am I just telling myself that? And I said to her, no, I really believe that. I really believe that anger is a pointless emotion. And so as we're unpacking this and uncovering this, she used examples of worldwide events, where people got to the end of their rope, right? A community, and then through anger would make decisions and move forward. In my life experience and what I've witnessed from my perception is anger is a destructive force. And so it was really interesting because with all of my the belief that I had, and I'll use past tense around their anger is pointless, is affecting my physical body. And so I'm in awareness of emotions affect our physical body. And so as I was working through this with her and, doing some inner child work, allowing the inner child, of myself to express her anger in a healthy way when she was younger. So that was the exercise that we were doing. And I said to her, I have no point of reference of someone expressing their anger healthy. Like I have no experience in my personal life with that. And so one of her exercises then was, so she took me into a room, and we have one in Red Deer, right, where the room where you can go like smash things, like you can go break things. And so we were doing this exercise, right? This meditation of me going into this room, bringing my inner child into this room and being able to like smash things. Rage room. Thanks, Sherry. Yeah, right. See, I can't even come up with a fucking word. Like really seriously. So we, did this little exercise. And what came to me as I was experiencing this was how, for me personally, rage and anger have been unsafe. And so then from that point of having rage and anger being unsafe, certain aspects of my life have unfolded. And because I believe that, the experiences that I've had have supported me in that belief. So we talk about that, right? That when we want to change an action, we actually need to like reverse engineer it almost and go, what's the belief behind it? And so, which got me, I guess, to as I'm coming on the call, thinking, how many of us, as a human being, we have experiences that we don't want. So, like for me, it would be anger, and losing self-control, losing my shit, right? Having regret afterwards supported my belief that anger is, and I'll use the word bad because that just makes sense to use. Anger is bad. And that I'm not a great person. So I'm a bad person if I lose my shit. And although there's a part of me that doesn't believe that, there's also a deeper part of me that believes that anger is a wasted emotion. And so not even allowing myself the opportunity. So how many times do we as a human being have a belief around one of our emotions, right? So, and it doesn't even have to be around anger. I mean, you might have the same belief around anger that I do. It might be around joy or happiness. It might be a belief around not even an emotion, but around like love, or a belief about business. And we aren't even an awareness of the belief that is directing our life and affecting ourselves, affecting how we show up, affecting our physical bodies. And so I think today is a great opportunity to check in, and we'll tie it to the emotional piece today, but how many of you are suppressing or repressing or not allowing or have a thought or belief around an emotion, right? And is that serving you? So as Haley was pointing out, different situations where we're talking about the women's movement in Canada, right before we were allowed to vote, and a group of women were angry and frustrated at the situation, and when they went to change, so their anger was a catalyst for change, and they did it in a peaceful way. And I do remember reading some of that in my in high school, some of the Canadian history. We didn't study a lot of Canadian history, right, when I was in high school. And so then we thought of other world events where there was a peaceful outcome. So the anger wasn't a catalyst for destruction, but the anger was a catalyst for rebuilding, right? And so the exercise was really about figuring out what the belief was. And the main point, I guess, of the conversation is sometimes we can have a belief that on the outside appearance sounds like it's a good belief to have, and pardon the language of the good and bad, right? But I'm using that in terms of discernment, that it's a good emotion or a good belief to have. So for example, my belief that anger was pointless, and it wasn't like, woe was me pointless. It was just like, literally, what's the point? There's nothing good or constructive comes out of being angry. So why be angry? And so that sounds all peaceful, doesn't it? Because the opposite of anger and frustration is peace. So it sounds all zen, right? Or at least it did to me. Might not sound zen to you, right? Which is the point. Is I thought that was an okay belief to have. Like that there's no need. And it's okay if other people are angry. I'm not saying that it's not okay for other people to be angry, but just my experience. I have created and manifested this experience over and over again, that anger is only destructive, and anger only leads to despair. So what about for you? How do you feel about anger or frustration or bitterness or resentment? Where are you at with that belief? Are you are you similar to me, where you're thinking that it's, and again, it's not that it's bad or good or bad or right or wrong, but what I became so aware of this morning in the work was that I think a lot of us, especially in the world of the spiritual development and personal development, I think we have dismissed the emotion, the lower density energies, that we're dismissing them. And what if we could express them or utilize them as a catalyst for expansion, right? And it's just a really different way to look at the situation. It's a really different way to look at anger or a lower density energy, resentment or bitterness. In the world of human design, when you're feeling, so depending on your human design, if you're feeling bitter, like projectors, if they feel bitter, what that means is that they're not living in their purpose. They're not living their true self, right? Frustration, I think, is manifestors and manifestor generators. I think both are frustration, right? Actually, bitterness isn't a projector. No, maybe it is, because if a projector feels successful, that means that they're living in their design, living their best life. But what situations, scenarios, emotions have you made, I don't even know the word, pacified is what comes to me, right? That could be actually holding you back. Up until, so it's 8:15 my time. Up until half an hour, 45 minutes ago, I would have told you that I would have told you I was very comfortable in my belief that there was no point. And again, not saying it in a sense of like from a victimhood. And now I can see how through my experiences with anger, I gave anger a meaning, right? And then I've lived my life out based on what anger means about me, about the person who's maybe angry with me, or about me being angry and the person on the receiving end of my anger, of the situation, and would have been very comfortable with, this has worked really well for me, right? And our environment, right, our results, our circumstances, our environment, our physical body, shows us and shares with us what our beliefs are. So your physical body also will do that, and because it's an environment, will show us where our beliefs are. And so as we've had very unsettled energy, and astrologically, I wouldn't be able to share with you why I haven't taken the time to like look to see what's going on with the alignment of the planets. But there's been a huge shift happening this last 7 days since the just before this last full moon and continuing on. I know that one of the planets is we're entering into like a cycle of, is it Venus or Pluto, and we're here for 22 years or something like that's I know that's happened. I know it's really vague in sharing the information. But because we're so used to the way that we show up, right? It's difficult to see maybe where we need a different way to look at things. But the opportunity we have before us is to observe, is to just observe where you're at and then observe about, what parts of your life would you like more of, what parts of your life are you unsatisfied or dissatisfied or unhappy with, what parts of your life um, do they feel off-centered or off-kilter or just off, what parts of your life are you satisfied in. And so not into comparison, but for in terms of discernment, right? So if we're really satisfied in one area of our life, but not in the other, what's the difference, right? What's the difference between the two? Are you showing up differently in one area of your life than you are in the other area of your life? What beliefs do you have around the area of your life that you're satisfied in? And then do you have that same belief in the area that you're not satisfied in? Because we know, or at least I think we're all willing to now accept how powerful we are as creators. And so if we can move into this peace, this acceptance that we create and manifest everything, and every person is an expression. So every interaction that we have with the outside world is an expression of our creation. Like everything is an expression of our creation. What is that telling you? I think I shared this weekend, I think I did this weekend, when I had the summit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I had the summit, right? And that woman came on to tell me that this is how her interview was going to go. And she didn't, although she liked the way that I interviewed, and this is all my perception, by the way, she liked the way that I interviewed. She didn't want to be interviewed. She was just going to present. And I said to her, no, it actually doesn't work that way. Everyone is interviewed so that there's some similarities. And she was taken aback by my smile and my no, this is the way that it is. And I was taken aback by her blatant, I felt, again, my perception, her blatant disregard for the way things are done. And so that's a mirror for me, right? I created her to, right, all the way. So I created her to show up in our life. I created her to not show up to the calls. I created her I was interviewing her. I created and manifested that she came and she wanted it this way. I created and manifested that she showed up the way she showed up. I created and manifest. I was pissed. I was pissed off, right? And what just came to me, the beautiful gift that came to me through that was I didn't lose my shit and it wasn't destructive. I was pissed off though, right? So now I have evidence that I can be angry, I can be pissed off, and it's not destructive, right? It's not destructive. And I don't have a lot of evidence of that. If I go back to, if you're willing to accept that you create and manifest everything. So it's easy to accept the manifestation of something brilliant and amazing. It's not so easy to accept the shit show stuff that happens in our life, right? And so it's easy to accept, when we say someone's our mirror and someone's mirroring back, how like loving we are. It's not so easy to accept when someone, shows up in our life and they're not nice, or they're cruel, or they're angry, or they're an asshole, or they're whatever. That's us. That is us in another human being expressing back to us the possibilities of what we could potentially, I say potentially because it's always a choice, to work on. It's not a coincidence that I got pissed off on the weekend and today my body showed anger, right? And when she asked me what the anger could be about, I didn't think of the particular situation with this woman, right? I did think that I was, a little bit angry with my body because it's not listening to me, right? I want it to be healthy now, and it's not listening. And we talked about that, right? So hang on, there's a question for all of you. What parts of your life do you have a veil on, right? That on the appearance, it's like this, it's beautiful and it's all sunshine and roses and unicorns and rainbows. You've dressed it up that way, and it's not that way. So, growing up, I think my mom used to say that people looking through rose-colored glasses, I think that's what that means, right? And so what parts of your life are you looking at through rose-colored lenses? And not good or bad, but there's an opportunity to just lift up the veil and see what's there so that you can ask yourself these really open questions, right? These blatant questions about what could be next for you. Because it's beautiful when you can view it through the lens of the observer. And I think this is the key. When you can view it through the lens of the observer and you're not taking things personal, right? Then it's like an unfolding. I call it my aha moments, right? Like my aha moments. And so it's a possibility that, for safety and security reasons, we are suppressing some of our aha moments. And so just take a moment as we end our time together today and think about, what are you not allowing yourself to express? What are you perhaps Pollyanning? Is that a word? Pollyanning, rose-colored glasses, tinted glasses, veiling. For me, it would be the veil. What parts of that are you veiling? And just explore it today. And share if you want to, spend some time thinking about it today, and then share with me. I'd love to hear. Yeah, I'd love to hear. Hang on, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for the moment, at least. I'll let you know if there's anything else that comes. All right. I'm just gonna stop. Anybody